There we go. Should be live. Says we're live. Not seeing it though. Live. Oh, yeah. Cool. Share link. And then that one to join. Screen share. That one. Cool. All right. I'm trying to name these now. Mm-hmm. hell is Bluetooth on? There we go. It'd probably help if I was on the right layer here. All right, so I'm going to get started. Even though there's 0 viewers, I'm still going to go through what I'm doing and kind of my ideas. People are going to be making it late or whatever, but if they go back and watch it, they'll be able to find out the information. So I kind of just drew some basic features of the face in here as reference, or just kind of placeholders. Right here, let's make a new layer. I'll kind of explain it because you're not going to see really well with my my little pointer here. But so what I got going on, let's choose a bright red. I was over in this window here. This arrow is pointing. We have my reference for the pose that I drew here for the Meridia reimagined, the girl from Braid, and down here I have my reference image for some of the facial features, and in this tab here I kind of have the hair. I'm probably going to go in and actually edit some of the drawing of the hair here that's curled up. It looks too fancy for me. I do like it, but I kind of want to give it I still stay with the characters, the base character that was drawn by Disney, while still giving it my own unique feel, staying true to the subject material. So I'm going to go ahead and flip back, because we're not going to get to that for a little bit. So what I tend to do is I have a pencil brush here that I've custom created. Here's my base palette. I made a chainmail brush to do that there, and that was just made for drawing a simple design that I had just brush in. So let's just, I guess, get to it. I'm going to delete this layer that I made for the reference material. So I'll make a new one. So if we look at the reference here, we can see our light is coming in from, oh, not that direction. The light coming in from this direction. So that's something we have to keep in mind, is find your light source when drawing. Having a reference really helps with that, and that's why I typically use reference. We're going to go in here. There's a lot of color information I don't want, so I'm going to desaturate it and to kind of want to lighten up the shadows a bit. There you go. I'm going to take 1 second here and check something on my other monitor. Okay. I'm going to continue here. I also have my eraser set up to utilize the pen sensitivity that can be achieved with my Wacom Cintiq 13-inch HD is the tablet I am using for drawing here on the monitor. Personally, I really do like it. I find it really offers the control that you would find traditionally doing traditional art, just pencil and paper, while allowing you to use the advantages of digital. And we'll get into that as I utilize them here in a little bit. I'll probably end up doing that when I'm doing the eyes, just because they're very quick to be utilized. But yeah, so if there's any questions that you have, you can put them in the chat on the right. If you have any, and I'll definitely try and peek over and see and answer anything that comes up. Right now, I'm just trying to get the proportions really made for this. Kind of has more curves in those. When drawing in the base shapes, it's a good idea to start with the lightest areas and darkest areas first, and then worry about shading in the middle tones, or else you end up getting lost in all the details, which is something that I'm guilty of doing because I really do prefer the smaller details. That's my little thing that I enjoy doing. So, but it is probably the best advice. I'm definitely no expert. Still somewhat a rookie. I'm good at something or excel at some areas, but definitely there's some areas I will constantly be improving on, and that's kind of the point when you're learning something or doing anything in life, I guess. So that's kind of the base of the nose. That's a detail there. And X is the hotkey to switch between, in Photoshop, to switch between your alternate color. And so that's how I quickly switched here to my white brush. Quickly get that light that's come bouncing off your nose. It seems like this is slightly brighter. Alex, if you're using Google Hangout, you should just be able to enter a chat on the side of the feed here. So I guess. Trying to investigate. I don't think it has. Oh, okay. So let me test here. See if this brings anything up. For me, it's on the right-hand side when I'm in the Google Hangout. If it's in the YouTube video, let me see if. So I'm going to mute my audio or output from my computer. I guess you could try typing a comment into the YouTube video at the bottom too, if you're watching it through YouTube. But there should be an option in one of those places. Trying to get this divot. Cool, interesting fact that really doesn't work in this instance, but for drawing proportion-wise, your nose is the length of the size of your eye, and then when you're looking at the eye, if I was to, this is where we can show off something here. Nope, that's not what I want with the lasso to. So if I grab that like that, and then hit Command T, I could essentially rotate and so it's showing lots of proportions there. So if I hit it, I'm just gonna rotate back. It also allows me to move stuff quickly. Also interesting, another anatomy fact is if you draw a line from the center of each eye, the nose should be at where they meet. If it was a straight on view, of course, there's going to be foreshortening since it's a 3/4 view. And then if you cross that X and continue on, the difference here will be the length from the top of your eye to the bottom of your eye. And then the width of it will be approximately where the lines would be touching for your mouth. So you can kind of extend out to those points if you're trying to set up stuff and get a feel for proportions. So that's just some useful information. There's a lot of anatomy information out there that if you're really trying to learn that stuff, it's out there. Probably the most well-known anatomy info, which was from Leonardo da Vinci, the one with the multiple people with their arms out and such. But there's a lot of cool stuff you can learn in regards to that, and just from looking at images online. There's this site called Pixel-Lovely, I believe is the name for it, and they have a bunch of reference images, and you can even set it for a classroom scenario So like change the image every 15 minutes, a minute, if you're just trying to get stuff done real quick and learn a lot that way. So that's some cool stuff there in regards to information and stuff that I've used many a time. I can probably put a link to it after the stream down below. That could be helpful for everyone. I'm also trying not to use the reference too heavily on this. I just want to use these two as kind of jumping points, but I do want the lighting information from that one, since that's kind of what I'm building off of. So there's the eye socket muscle there, and there's going to be that muscle. So I'm going to try and get both of those. It's very subtle. The image I've chosen. This is much darker under the nose. It's a very strong shadow in the reference. Just a little too much there. Cool Photoshop sheet that I could do if this wasn't a 3/4 view would be to just duplicate the eye over and make very slight adjustments to the eye itself, which can speed things along. You can do the same thing with other. That's kind of the beauty of using digital painting and drawing over traditional media. And it's why a lot of companies are going that route of, you know, wanting the person that can get it done fastest. It's personally kind of why I like MyWay, the Cintiq tablet over the many others. Like I know Wacom has an Intuios tablet that has many of kind of the same signature pen with all the pressure sensitivity. However, the difference between that one and this one is that there's no screen that you're drawing on. You're drawing on the tablet itself, and then you also are looking at a different screen, which starts to have an impact on me, at least, as in my ability to draw. I tend to see that I can't really tell what I'm drawing, and which is bad. Any like detail drawings that I'm working on, I have difficulty getting that small detail in there yet. Is keeping a line the exact way I want it, which can be a problem.
It's also done.
Answering everybody's quick question here about how to get on the stream. All right. This area is definitely darker in the image than what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of quickly getting that massive shadow on her cheek in here. This is a huge feature. Actually, no, it is. It is the light. The that there looks like it's just whatever this fake blood that's on the cosplayer is, and I don't really care to replicate that on my drawing particularly, so I am not going to.
It's also done.
My advice for drawing lips is actually, a lot of people will draw like, you know, this is a really quick example, like obviously exaggerated, just the outline. I actually advise against that. Even that's way too sharp there. What I tend to do is draw the line of where the lips connect, or if there's an opening, and draw that out, and then come in and use the shadowing information, which is pretty much what it is for that information anyway. And this is me trying to figure out, because I'm trying to like make the way her lips look. trying to merge them with attributes of that one. Too much smile. Too much smile. And at the end of the lips, there's a little bit you can kind of see right there where it goes up, and there's a little like eye drop type shadow there, because that's how the muscle works. And you can see right here, there's part of a muscle group here, and that adds more shadowing information. It's very, very light. But it's just something to kind of just push it even further. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to move the middle of the lips just a bit. That's because I was looking down here and not looking at my reference, like I should have been doing. I could have also not erased it and used the lasso tool and just moved it, but it's no big deal. So I still would have had to do some editing. And I'm not trying to be super realistic with my shading information. I could take the time and use something like an airbrush or use a couple of different brushes to really get that realistic look. But the reason I don't do that is personally, I like cross-hatching. And it's a single crosshatch, not a multi-crosshatch, which is where you go like that. Go like that to build up. But, I would rather do the kind of simplified version of it. That's also kind of just the standard shading method, where you have a quick kind of draw into it. I'm doing a no-no. And that no-no is, unless I am purposely doing it to switch directions of the hatch, I shouldn't be altering it. So we're gonna, I know I'm altering the direction of the hatch for this white, but I shouldn't try and match it with the black if I'm not doing it with just what I'm definitely not doing. kind of just analyzing here what we got going on. This one. Hers has. All right, so I know what I'm going to do. So this highlight won't be here if we're kind of replicating this lip rather than this bottom lip. And the reason that's the case is hers is more flat. That's why it's getting this light reflected here. If it was more rounded, it'd be probably more near the center on hers, because this girl has a more rounded lip, and that's kind of what I'm trying to replicate. And I should also, if I'm going to touch that shadow there, bring that in. funny fact about when I'm drawing is a lot of the time when I'm drawing late at night, especially, um, I tend to start freaking myself out by just thinking some proportions are off or such and such, and pretty much sometimes it just pays to back off and kind of just look at it for a minute or step away. A lot of the times taking a small break, but in this case I think I'm fine. No sleep deprivation right now. We're all good. It's just getting in here and working this. Why isn't this working? And deselect me. And, still had the pixel selected. That would explain why. finish this mouth before I move on to the next part of the stream. I'll probably do this for about 15 to 20 more minutes, and then I'm probably going to switch over to the how a video game is created from start to finish of an asset, which should be exciting because that's a lot of stuff. I was smart, recreated a bunch of stuff to kind of speed it up, but I will be showing off that, which is a lot of different programs. And this is why I just genuinely am a huge fan of a computer. Oops. All right, we're really catching the stride here now. I should be able to. All right. All right, now let's do the part that I thoroughly enjoy, which is detail work. Okay, and now the cool part, 'cause some of that information and shading information disappeared by me adding detail. I'm going to go ahead and bring that stuff back in with a blending. It's too sharp. Future. So the setting I used there is called color dodge. It makes certain things brighter. So if the color under it is closer to like a white, you're adding, so you get a glow to stuff. Or it creates a glow. So there's multiple ways to really get that glow effect. I hope if I was using the right color there. Ah, I accidentally hit T. No. Brought up the type tool. Not the type tool. We're gonna go ahead and lighten up this because that was pretty strong. When you zoom out, well, when I zoom out, you'll see what I'm talking about. Just doing a size comparison there. So what I'm going to do is save here. And we're going to move on to the other drawing portion. Or not drawing, but the video game asset creation part of this session. I'll come in here and I'll play around with this a little bit more later. What I'm probably going to end up doing too is I'll capture my screen as I finish the drawing here and upload it to YouTube on the same channel and kind of just have a speed painting of of this. I'm not completely in love with that. Something's off. I think I've just been working on it so long that certain stuff will pop back out to me when I reopen this. We're going to go ahead and quit Photoshop right now. I don't want to alter my reference. And then we are going to reopen Photoshop. I just wanted to close all those windows. So what we're going to be doing is I've already created the asset, but I'll still show in Maya what you'd essentially have to do in order to make what I did. That way you can see that, because that's one of the things that takes the longest to do is in Maya. And then right here what we have is we're going to go to Open Recent. Tile floor is what we want. So this is a texture I've created for a video game asset. This is going to be it's a 1024 by 1024 pixel. It's a texture and it's seamless, which means if I copy this entire thing and put it next to each other, there wouldn't be a seam. You wouldn't be able to tell there's a seam, and it carries over. And the way you do that is actually pretty simple. Up here in Filter, you go to Other, Offset, and you just say what the pixels need to be, and it'll do it for you. And the easiest way I can show that to you is if I go Command-Alt-Shift-E on a Mac, I make a new layer that is a exact copy of the current layer or all layers that are active. So now offset will work. Offset only works on the current layer, so it doesn't affect all layers. So if I hit OK, you can kind of see if I hit this repeatedly, it just keeps moving it to a tiling texture. And that was 256 by 256 for a 1024 by 1024. You can kind of do the math of if you wanted to do a 2K texture, or this is 2K. 4K resolution texture would be double the size of this. So it'd be a 2048 by 2048. So now what we're going to do, this is what's known as a diffuse texture in gaming. It's going to be your base color information and how your object or that texture would look unlit by lighting. So what we're going to do is I've already saved this file out. That's already done. We are going to be needing to create the normal maps. So I want my scratches on there. I'm going to get rid of both my mud layers. I'm also going to get rid of my tiling patterns. And I should getting rid of my fill patterns as well. So these scratches on the tiles, those white ones, the way normal mapping works is it's how you get how thick, how deep stuff is, how these tiles are going to look like tiles, dimensional wise. And that's it has to be grayscale when you bring the image into the program, and it has to follow a very distinct protocol where black is depth and white is height. So what I'm going to want to do is go in here and actually turn off. The cracks can stay because their scratches are going to be the inverse. So I'm going to turn them off because I'm going to have to copy them, and highlights are going to be inverted as well because they're going to be rounded, and that's how they're catching light right now. All right. So what we're going to do now is going to go Command-Alt-Shift-E again. Bring that up. Command-U to bring up saturation. Desaturate the image. Then I'm going to copy that layer. Bring it up above the layer I'm currently working on, turn it on again, and then Command U. I don't want them to be super deep. So we're going to do about that. Looks probably good. Also had something else on. No, highlights. Copy that. Command up above. Activate it. And we'll do Command U again. Do that. So now that that's done, if I wanted to paint in using vert painting, I could also just save this file out and as a height map, and that information would be helpful for that. However, I don't think we have the time to do that, so I'm not going to. But if you want to know how to do that, you can look up vertex blending in Unreal 4, which is the game engine I'm going to be using, and they'll have explanations there if you're really curious. But anyway, what we're going to do is Command A. Oh, actually, no, we're not. We're going to deselect. Command Alt Shift E, make the layer copy of what we have here. Then I'm going to Command A, Command C to copy. Now it's on my clipboard. I'll use that here in a second. I'm actually, before we switch over to a different program, we're going to finish the spec map, so I'm going to turn off all this stuff again. I'm turning on all my other stuff again. And then I'm going to put on a levels adjustment. And what this is going to be is we're going to file, save as this, as a targa. And we're going to keep my naming convention that I have going on inside the engine and save that as that. I should probably, let's copy it anyway. So we're going to switch back, targa, not TIFF. Shift underscore spec map documents. It's actually on my desktop. Sorry. This is my folder. Content. Textures. So this is all within part of an assignment I'm working on. The base level was provided by the instructor. I think it's actually the room itself is demo from Unreal, and some of the stuff he just found. A lot of this content doesn't work because it's switched from different versions. So pretty much everything else inside of it, other than the little orbs with the Unreal logo on them, are stuff I've made rather than the room. So you'll see when we get in there. But so I'm going to save that there. I'm going to minimize Photoshop for now. We're going to go to Finder, Applications, Crazy Bump. And we wait for Crazy Bump to boot. This is a free software. There's others like it. So XNormals or a plugin for Photoshop that I can't remember the name of right now. It can do the same thing. I just personally find this one to be better than the others. So I'm going to go ahead and paste sitemap from Clipboard. And this is a 3D rendering of what I will be working. I don't want it on a column, I want it on a box. So I can move the light around on it. So the intensity is way too high right now. I don't want these tiles to be huge. They're like what you would see outside on a decking or something like that. It's kind of the tiling that I'm looking for. So I am gonna bring that bad boy down a bit. Not negative though. That might still be too much. But that might be because my large detail is turned up. Let's see if we take down some of these details. So what I'm thinking is the fine detail I need for the cracks and the scratches, that needs to be bumped up. I need to turn down my medium detail, my large detail, and everything else quite a bit. It's too much for what I got. So I'm going to turn those down. Then I need to go back into Photoshop and turn off pretty much everything but a couple layers and generate out and create another normal map. And that's called a detailed normal map. So if we drag this down, this down, this down. Not looking too shabby. Yeah, I'm starting to see the scratches in there. All right, so I think that's actually pretty good. I actually think I'm satisfied. With that for the most part. I'm gonna save that out, so normal to file. This is file normal map. Save it to the same location as all the other stuff, which is very important. We're going to go ahead and minimize this. We're going to do that again. So back in here, wasn't kidding when I said we were going to turn off everything but a couple of layers. So what I'm going to do is, because I don't want it where the plaster. Oh, not hard to decide. It'll look weird without. I think what I'll do is I only want this applied to the top. So I'm going to dupe these. I'm going to do both of these and then do something to them. All right, I'm going to put a generated mask. Actually, it'll be faster if I turn it on. Go find, where is it? There it is. If I command click, it'll select that. And then if I make a, it'll only apply it to those. So we're going to do the same thing with this one. Oh. There you go. Then we again have to do the Command Alt Shift E, Command U to saturate the entire thing, Command A, Command C. And that's when we're gonna like dial way back. I just want it to be super subtle. I don't want any large details really. Any large details. So bring this down. Bring this down. I think actually what I'm going to do is cancel what I'm doing. Reopen. I'm going to generate something different. I don't want, on second thought, I really don't want anything on the tile. All I want is stuff on the little creases. So this itself actually would be fine. It's about trying stuff a lot of the times and seeing what you like and then deciding halfway through it, nah. Oh, that is not going to look good. All right. Do this again. All right, that's good. And we're going to name this tile detail underscore n for normal map. We're going to quit Crazy Bone. Shoot, did not save it to the right location. That is okay. It is okay. We'll drop it in there. Okay, so I'm going to explain real quick what the heck how that works. What it does is if you flip over to your channels here, red, green, blue. So red for example, maybe is X. Green Y. Blue would be Z. Everything's stored in ones and zeros on a computer. So this is either an absolute one value or not. Yes, that is true. It is ones and zeros on a computer. But in terms of this, it's a value of 1 for the darkest in this channel and 0. And you got a value anywhere in between there and there for a color scale. So this was, so let's just grab black. You're drawing. This is your darkest value. That's your let off. You know, better get the value up there. So that's the simple kind of idea behind all that. So we're left with our blank slate here, and I don't think I actually need this. I'm just going to save my file and quit Photoshop. Pop open Maya 2015, 2016 should be out. It's a student version. As long as you say that you're a student, you can get it for free with certain features and watermarking and all that fun jazz if you try and, of course, it says individual license, educational multi-set, standalone license. All of this product is governed by license and services agreements, which is pretty much telling you you can't get money for stuff you make in this student version. You'd have to have a real license to make any money. Blah, 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 blah. Don't be an idiot. Yada, yada, yada. This is probably the most expensive software I have on this laptop. Thank God they allowed it to be, changed it to be free. You don't have to buy a student version anymore, which was included in my initial tuition cost, but upgrading it was free. Anyway, so what we have, incremented versions of this stuff. Everything right now looks weird because I have it pivoted to its right location, which is important. The pivot point controls a lot of this stuff, and it's used for multiple purposes. So if we just file created block, scale it up, drag it up. Let's say we wanted to make a brick. We do that. And I do that to it. And that would give it holding edges. Or for a video game, you don't need to do holding edges for the most part. Holding edges are just there for when you activate smoothing. So if I, right now, switch this up, whoa, grab this object, see it kind of has this beveled edge. If you don't, it'll become like a sphere in 3 mode. But it is nice to have holding edges because, or bevel edges, because the stuff in real life is beveled. It's just, you don't want to, with video games, you're trying not to compromise the amount of data you're creating or amount of edges. So it's kind of, you have to think about all that stuff while you're making it. We're not going to mess with this anymore. Although I would, if, I'll have one last quick thing to say while I was closing out here. Pretend you have that same box that we just showed, and you were to wrap a wrapper around it. That's a step in that UV creation that we just had. We're just applying a image, a texture to these items, and that's fine. However, for more complicated stuff, you're probably going to lay out the UVs and then paint stuff specifically. It's kind of, there's multiple ways to skin a cat, yeah, that kind of thing. So just researching and finding out what works best for the object you're doing is kind of part of the artistic process. Now what we're going to do now, if you're ready, after you do that, you export it as an FBX file, the object you created. You go into your applications, you're going to launch. Now at this point, I'm putting my pen away because I think I found that the pen, for some reason, when I launch Unreal Engine, screws up my computer and makes it so that I can't double click on my right screen, or pretty much I lose the ability to interact with my right screen, which is bad. So we're going to just use my mouse off to the right here. We're going to see if the computer starts to take off. This is probably going to run my computer pretty hot when I launch this. But it's pretty dang cool. The Unreal 4 engine, if you don't know much about video games, or whatever, the engine itself has been used on a lot of stuff. Like Unreal Tournament is the key thing that it started out as. But Gears of War is probably the most popular and wide-known game. It is probably one of the best graphic engines for games. I like the Snowdrop engine. Looks really promising too. You want to look into that. It's being used with the Division, and then I think there's one other one that's pretty cool. Bethesda games don't typically have like top of the line graphics, but they do have really, really cool looking stuff. And they spend a lot of work. Their graphics engines probably could maintain the same stuff. It's just they're not using it because they're allocating those assets to make generating a bunch of in-game actual assets. You got to take away something from somewhere to get something elsewhere. Frostbite, that's the other engine I was thinking of. Frostbite is the engine used in dice games. It's really powerful. Being held back by last-gen consoles right now, so we'll see with stuff like Star Wars Battlefront coming out if we get to see kind of what potential that engine has. It's going to tell me it's failed to load some stuff. That's okay. I know about that. That's cool. It's processing the files that we dropped in earlier. Then updating them to my inventory here down at the bottom where I can access them. So I cleared that. Going to get rid of that. So we have our tile floor here. Doesn't look. Doesn't look much difference. But in reality, it kind of is going to be different when we start adding stuff. So we got to find our tile material. We're going to pop this bad boy open. So what we got here is our node. Our node here is going to be telling the software, hey, this is what we want. Specular is where we're going to plug in that. And we're going to dupe this. I'm going to grab this node. Command C, Command V. I'm grabbing the wrong part. Command C, Command V. That node. I think from what I've been looking at, this metallic node is actually what used to be known as specular color in the last engine. So if we I want to see what happens if we jump this all the way up to 100. Not really seeing anything. That's one. So if it is like specular color and you're 40, it should be roughly what concrete is. Might even go a little further. Let me say 60. There you go, that's enough. Here, we need to find tiles S. Grab it. Did I grab it? No, I did not. Grab it. Go back over here. Hold T, click in here, and drops my texture sample down in here. I'm gonna bring that in there. Since I'm a weird neat freak. And move all the stuff around and give it its all on comments. Comment node. Drag that onto this. So, because these get pretty big and large in the game engine, I'm learning ahead of time and labeling stuff. It's right there. Grab it. No. Gosh dang it. Keep accidentally clicking off the thing I want. There we go. All right. Grabbing it on there. Diffuse. I'll click on this one. Case. Weird. Might also be because the software's running my computer pretty hard. Oh, all right, for this next part, the normal map creation, I'm going to save myself time because I've already developed the node software in this material as well. And this is where I explain it will get into play. We're going to copy this entire node network. We're going to come in here. We're going to paste it. We're going to get rid of this texture sample. This texture coordinate will not be needed. Neither will this one, actually. And this texture can get rid of, too. All right. We're going to come back over here. We need our regular tile, normal map. We're going to place that one up here. We're going to put it into the add node. This node here is the 3 coordinate node. The reason why it's yellow is because I'm going to multiply the red channel and the green channel against our other texture, which is the tile detail texture normal map. We need to knock out some of the blue information because that stuff is already stored on this node up here. We just want to add more to the surface and kind of break it up a bit more. So that's what this channel is doing, because anything multiplied by 0 equals 0 gets rid of it. We're gonna, actually, I'm just gonna let go. That's there. Zoom back in, and now we'll hook it up. And look at that. That's depth now. And you can see we got some, like, it looks like concrete. Yeah. So we're gonna save that. It's gonna be applied. I'm going to close that material, save. Let's see if this works. So this will actually look better if we rebuild the lighting. So I'm going to do that real quick. So this is going to take a minute. What it's going to do is going to build the lighting information in here. Because when I launched it, it said it was broken. And that's because I built objects that hadn't been lit yet. Bottom right hand corner, you can see it's doing this thing. It takes a while. And I'm betting it's not even at production quality, because this is going actually pretty fast compared to what I'm used to it taking. Especially if it's doing reflection data too. So make this build bigger. The reason why I can see through this right now is because it's not, I need to make it boxed. There's no back face to this. You can just see through it. And that's what happens when you get behind levels in games and you can actually see through stuff and the wall doesn't exist, and that's where you get killed out of bounds kind of stuff. Anyone that's played first person shooter near the kind of release of the game has probably experienced something like that. We got is our floor here, and you can see it looks really nice. And our brick texture, and then this dark wood, which has its lighting information. Apparently I shoot balls. That's kind of funny. So the whole surrounding area in here was created by Unreal. However, and these objects weren't, but the textures themselves were designed by me. So you can see this is the textures we're working with. And repeated over. What's around in here is glass. So kind of see through. This is vertex painting, like I was talking about. This is actually painted. This is the texture itself. This is me painting. I'm just using the vertex paint to make certain parts of it black. So if I get behind here, you're probably going to see where some of the vertexes kind of look weird. But I knew you were only going to be looking at it from the front here, so I didn't really worry too much about it. Then we have our one over here. That is also a vertex painting I was talking about with the dirt. You have the dirt there, painted in, and it makes what we're looking at. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do. It takes a lot of work to do this stuff. What I'm probably going to be doing for this hard surface modeling is putting an object in here that that's a one object. Probably going to make a bottle or something and set it on the floor. And we have this cool little room. I think we might have had a problem. We might have crashed. Yes, we did. We did crash. But that is okay. I'm going to force quit Unreal. If I can get my browser to respond to me. Like I said, I probably was going to do that. Because I was streaming, and Chrome chews up enough RAM as is, and Unreal takes a lot to run, especially with all the lighting and stuff. That's fine. Show off what I need to. For all those who have stopped by and watched and enjoyed the stream, I appreciate it. It was fun. Definitely will be uploading. This is going to automatically. So if you wanted to look back and you tuned in late and see something, you can go to the YouTube page and it will be posted there immediately after I stop broadcasting, as well as I'm going to be finishing the drawing I was working on earlier and record it all and upload that as a speed painting. So thank you and good night.